Hello, welcome back to my channel. We've been following the Bruce Lerhmann defamation saga, and just when you think that might have ended, it keeps going. It's like the gift that keeps on giving. So he was back in court today because he's seeking to delay the compensation that he owes Channel 10 $2 million. And he was in court today to ask for that to be delayed. So in short, a lawyer for Bruce Lerhmann told the federal court she plans to file a stay application to delay paying the $2 million he owes to Network 10 from his defamation case. He wants to appeal the defamation case ruling to the full bench of the federal court. The parties will make submissions ahead of the next federal court hearing in October. So essentially, he was found on the balance of probabilities that he did Brittany Higgins. And he sued 10 Network 10 and the journalist for defamation over an interview that they did with Miss Higgins. And it was ruled that he needed to pay them $2 million in damages. Now, Network 10 is seeking $200,000 from the former Liberal staff for security before the court grants any leave. This money would pay for some of the media party's legal bills in the event Mr. Lehrmann loses his appeal, and he's ordered to pay 10 for their costs in defending the appeal. In an earlier court hearing, Mr. Lehrmann was described as a man of modest means. Until this week, he was expected to represent himself in the court. But today, in what was the first case management hearing of his appeal, he's studying law, had drafted and filed some of his own documents indicating his intent to appeal. He did not appear in court today, but instead was represented by a criminal lawyer, Zali Burrows. When asked outside court whether Mr. Lehrmann had the funds to pay her, Ms. Burrows told the reporters, "Have you asked him?" Ms. Burrows told Justice Wendy Abraham she intends to file a stay application on behalf of Mr. Lehrmann to delay enforcing the cost order pending the possible appeal. Network 10 argued Mr. Lehrmann should have advised the court much earlier that he wanted to delay the cost order. 10's lawyer, Tim Senior, said that since the order was handed down by Justice Lee in June, the broadcaster had already incurred further funds trying to enforce it. The parties would make submissions about Mr. Lehrmann's bid in delaying paying 10 and the broadcaster's bid for security ahead of the federal court hearing in October. So in the ruling of defamation, Justice Lee found Mr. Lehrmann was reckless to whether Ms. Higgins consented to have sex, which met the threshold of the ordinary meaning of R. In the pursuit of gratification, he did not care one way or another whether Ms. Higgins understood or agreed to what was going on. The network claimed that Ms. Higgins repeatedly told Mr. Lehrmann to stop, which he ignored. In his notice of appeal, Mr. Lehrmann argued the judge should have found on his favour since he rejected the defence as pleaded by Network 10. The broadcast suggests a violent R where the complainant was in tears and repeatedly refused consent, of which repeated refusal the perpetrator must have been aware, Mr. Lehrmann said. This is contrary to the non-violent R involving inadvertent recklessness as to consent, which was ultimately found. So, yes. Channel 10 still incurring more costs. This is why defamation doesn't always work. So this is the financial review, and it says Mr. Lehrmann's new lawyer is not used to defamation cases. So there is another act in the Bruce Lehrmann defamation circus. Yes, it's a bit of a circus. With colourful lawyer Zali Burrows now representing him. Ms. Burrows, who's better known as a criminal defence solicitor for bikies and assorted Sydney identities, appeared for Mr. Lehrmann in a directions hearing in the federal court on Thursday before Justice Wendy Abraham. She said Mr. Lehrmann had not yet engaged a barrister for the appeal and that one would probably not appear for a client when the matter returns to court on October 14. On that day, Justice Abraham will hear an application by Network 10 for a security of costs order against Mr. Lehrmann that would require him to lodge a $200,000 surety ahead of any appeal. And that just means that at the end of the day, if money, there is $200,000 that Channel 10 could get back. If So if Lehrmann loses the appeal, then there's $200,000 that can go straight to Channel 10, and there's no delay with that. Mr. Burrows said Mr. Lehrmann would ask the court to stop 10 enforcing the order that he pay the broadcaster $2 million to cover some of the costs from the trial. When Justice Abraham suggested that that application should have been made to trial judge Michael Lee, she said, "It's unfortunate it wasn't made in the court below, but that is what it is, Your Honour." The judge replied, "Well, it is at one level, but it may tally against your application ultimately." The barristers who had acted for Mr. Lehrmann at the trial withdrew their services after Justice Lee handed down his decision on the 15th of April. They actually worked on a no-win, no-fee basis, so they lost out. When Mr. Lehrmann filed his notice of appeal on May 31, he did so under his name, and it was anticipated he'd act for himself on Wednesday. And instead, Mr. Burrows, there's a mistake there. Ms. Burrows said at some stage she would be seeking to amend the appeal. There's a lot to go through. Mr. Lehrmann has cited 4 grounds of appeal, which includes findings of law by Justice Lee about the natural and ordinary meaning of the word "are." Ms. Burrows told the Financial Review outside the court that she was only engaged by Mr. Lehrmann on Wednesday night. The law firm that acted for him at trial, Mark O'Brien Legal, did so on a no-win, no-fee basis. It's understood Ms. Burrows has also agreed to represent Mr. Lehrmann in the New South Wales Civil and Administrative Tribunals hearing over claims he trashed an apartment funded by Channel 7 as part of an interview deal for the Spotlight program. Her clients have included murderer and drug imposter Bassem Hazmi, terrorist Hamid Akwasi, and convicted Forster developer Salim Mahajar. She successfully defended Bandido's bike gang members Peter Murick and Stephen Cox of charges of affray. The Financial Review could not find any mention of her appearing for a client in a defamation case. In 2023, Ms. Burrows was ordered to pay $130,000 in costs to McPherson Kelly lawyers after unsuccessfully suing them for the firm for negligence. In 2022, she was reprimanded by the New South Wales Legal Services Commission for failing to appear at the ACT Magistrates Court to represent clients, being discourteous to the court, and failing to act in the best interests of clients. In 2014, she ran as a candidate for Clive Palmer's United Party. So, interesting, right? Obviously, I don't know. It's a very interesting choice of a lawyer for him. So back to court in October. In the meantime, there are costs being racked up, and there's no money yet. So this is why courts really like mediation in defamation cases, and why there's no winners in defamation. Anyway, thank you for watching. I will catch you next time, and make sure you hit like and subscribe, and you can get all the updates on the Bruce Lehrmann circus as they come. Bye for now.